Well, hey friends, and welcome back to the Creative Shop Talk podcast. I'm your host, Wendy Batten. Super happy that you're here today. Before we jump into the podcast today, I am here again to give another shout out to my friend Leanne Presley and her amazing team at Stitchcraft Marketing. I've had such a great pleasure to work with her and recommend her marketing agency for the last year, since we had a chance to meet at H&H Americas last year. And the thing that's so unique about Stitchcraft is that they are a niche agency. They are servicing only companies in the craft space industry. They specialize in social media strategy and execution. And can't we all use a little bit of help with that? If you're one of those great shop owners out there who are constantly struggling with, all getting your newsletter out or trying to figure out how to do all the edits with your video clips, or you just need somebody else in your corner to help you manage all of those marketing things, I'd love for you to take a look at Leanne Presley and Stitchcraft Marketing. They are amazing. You can find a full list of their services and examples of their work that they've done with other companies over at their website at stitchcraftmarketing.com. Today we want to also talk about marketing in a different way. We have talked a little bit before about marketing and first impressions, but I have a question for you. Do you remember your first kiss? What about that first interview that you had for your new job, or your first apartment or home that you lived in all by yourself? What about the first time you opened the doors to that shop? That day that you opened the doors and you just, the very first day. What about the first time you went to that fancy restaurant that you always wanted to try and you finally went to it and enjoyed it? Our brains are wired to remember first. They're also wired to transport us back into positive first impressions. Memories are incredible. We all know that we all have first memories of different things, right? We want to make sure that we are making first impressions with our clients amazing and memorable. And one of those things, we have to remember is novelty matters. That being different matters. We've of course talked about that many times here, and I know it's something that I talk about with my clients a lot. But our most important job, besides keeping our business all healthy and all that, is really about the customer, right? We want to make our customers smile. So what are you doing to make an amazing first impression and being memorable with your new clients and your returning clients? But we're going to talk today a little bit about making an amazing first impression, like that first kiss. We want them to remember it, right? So let's jump in. Running a retail business doesn't have to be so hard. Welcome to the Creative Shop Talk podcast, the go-to podcast for creative shop owners, studio owners, and independent retailers. I'm your host, Wendy Batten, retail business coach and mentor. Each week, I'll share simple, proven business strategies, inspiring stories from fellow retailers, and advice from industry experts. Together, we're going to work to find the success you want from your retail business, with more profits in your till and a little more joy in your life. When you're out and about in your community, or maybe on vacation, or you're someplace else, and you go visit local retail shops, local stores, then you come home and you're recounting the stories, or you're recounting the memories in your head, or you're maybe referring and somebody else is going to that town or that place, and you're going to remember. You're going to pull back the memory, and you're going to remember what? You're going to remember the shops that made you feel good, the ones that you loved, right? Most people, when they think back and they grab the recesses from their brain and they think of their first impressions at in a town or in a new shop or a new place, they don't remember the price. That's not the first thing you're going to talk about. What are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about how beautiful it was and the products and all of the branding. And the big secret is that most people won't say price. They will remember the brand experience. It's how they felt in your shop. It's how they felt in the shop, or any shop. The experience that they had in the shop. It's not always the pricing, or it's not usually the pricing. That's actually so low on the list. Our brains are wired to remember emotions. Our brains are wired, it's all neuroscience and lots of studies around that. We are wired to remember how we feel. We want to build amazing memories for our clients, again, and be memorable. I like to say rememberable. We do not want to be average. Average is not okay. It is not the bar we are setting. We do not want to be remembered like everybody else. So today I want to talk about a few different tips and a few different ways that we can today go back and review our first impressions. We do not want to be so attached to the way things are in your shop right now that you're not open to thinking about first impressions. We get so accustomed, and we all do it. Everybody does it. We set up some maybe processes, or we think we have really good first impressions, but we sometimes get attached to that. And I want to make sure today this is a great time of the year to revive and revisit how it is you are making first impressions. And now I know I've shared here on the podcast in the past about customer journey, and customer journey is all of the touch points that your clients have with your brand. So from first hearing about you, like what are people saying? What are the hairdressers saying about you and your brand, to finding you on Google, to finding you on Facebook and all of that. So we do have podcast episodes around your customer journey. I'd love for you to go have a listen to that if you haven't already, or revisit that. That's episode 144 on the Creative Shop Talk podcast here. And we talk a lot about forward-facing brand assets. We actually also have a podcast on all the things you should do before you're ever going to pay for advertising. And that's actually, even if it's not paid, it's a really good reminder of what I mean by forward-facing assets. And that's all the things that the people see, all the things that the customers see. But as the CEO, so you can go revisit that one, but as the CEO of your business, we have to continually evolve that journey for our customers. It's always changing, right? Tech changes, products change, things change. We need to make sure that we are always keeping on top of that. So be open to making some changes. So today I wanted to bring up actual first-time customer experiences. Like, what does your customer actually experience in your shop? What does that look like for you right now? And it is so important. It's being intentional about all of those little marketing and sales touches that we put in place for all our customers, but specifically first impressions, right? Remember that first kiss? We want that first kiss to be important and to be memorable. So there's tons of studies, as I mentioned earlier, and on the neuroscience of what new experiences mean for our customer. It all comes down again to the emotion and how they feel. So some of the key things that many of the shop owners that I've worked with and I've experienced personally myself in running a shop and in visiting shops are the senses, right? We all know we need to make sure that we are hitting all the senses. So, and also remembering, this is a really good one. Remember, what is your customer thinking and feeling while they are experiencing every aspect of your brand? So when they first walk in, all those senses. So what are they looking at? Look, touch, feel, smell, all of those senses. Your merchandising, your displays, your lighting, revisit all of these things. What does the shop sound like? And also, this also can include things like demos. We've talked about that before. That's the touch side of things, or showing, making sure that your staff all, have availability of showing the products. This can also include interactive displays. So nowadays, we are moving up in tech, right? We have to keep up with these things. So there could be some different things that we do in shop with interactive displays. The second thing is your team being trained to be interactive, being well trained to be interactive with your clients. Today, I would love for you, or this, put it in your journal to do these three things. First, the experience, the look, feel, touch, all of that. Second part, make sure that your staff is fully trained on what to say, how to speak, how to sell, how to engage and nurture in a genuinely with your clients. And this also means at the cash wrap, thanking them. What are we acknowledging with new clients, with returning clients? What are we saying? What's the vocabulary? What's the lingo we're using? Being genuine about this. And I keep saying genuine because that's what's missing in other stores. That's what we do well, right? We do that so well. We are so genuinely happy to meet people. I hope you're genuinely happy. And having a marketing plan in place for new customers or around this lingo and conversations that are happening. So yes, they're genuine. We're not scripting. I mean, you've heard me say, probably if you're a longtime listener, we're not into scripting kindness, or we're not into scripting, being genuine. I guess that seems kind of funny, but making sure that that's a mission and a part of the training that your staff have. So we really want to make sure that that's in place with all with all clients, with all of our team members for our clients. So we really want to make sure we have a marketing plan in place. And what your marketing plan can look like is even just thanking, being sure that everybody leaves with a thank you, and use their name if you can, have a whole script or have a whole plan in place and teach your team how to do this. This is something we talk about a lot inside the Retailers Inner Circle, on how to coach your team and how to be part of your, how to make sure your team understand what maybe you take for granted. I know I was always guilty of that. I took for granted that everybody would say thank you and goodbye, or, just being intentional about it. But also the next level things. How are you wowing and delighting new clients? Again, maybe it's bag stuffers for new clients. Maybe it's an invitation to making sure that we're putting them on the email list and sending out a special email maybe to new clients. There's just different things we can do in a marketing capacity that will nurture those new clients and leave them with a really great smile on their face. Like, thank you. Maybe you have a little candy pack. We've talked about different things on the podcast before that we can do to wow and delight our clients. So you can put something in place. I just want to remind you to revisit that this quarter in your shop. The last part, or number 3, I shouldn't say the last part, but there's so many things we can do to make first impressions, but these are the highlights, or the high level ones. The third one is having the right inventory. This is one that's missed sometimes when we think about first impressions, because we're thinking about what it looks like, what it feels like, what we're doing, but also the right inventory that reflects your brand. Having the right inventory at the right place, at the right price for the right people. So making sure that you have the right blend of inventory. This is a really big thing. So we need to have enough of the regular stuff, the things that people are coming in for, but on the surprise things, we need to have a little bit of trendy. Like, there's just different types of inventory. We need to make sure that we have that right product blend. So, and that also includes services, like wow and delight and surprise your people with things that you do or how you do them in your shop. So making sure that the right price points are on brand is something that it's really important for us. We need to be very on brand about that. So we don't want to be, for example, let me just throw something at you. Too cheap. If they walk in and it's all just like really like inexpensive, dollar store pricing, but that's not the brand you're trying to project, or that's not your brand. My first experience with you might be amazing until I see all these really like low priced inventory items, or just, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just going to leave me feeling less than and not as excited. I'm not going to remember your shop in a positive way. So we also can't be the opposite. We can't brand ourselves, or from, marketing and walking into the shop and then being like really not on brand as far as pricing goes, as far as what we're projecting. So making sure your marketing is aligned with your pricing, and don't worry about, as I said, no one actually remembers the price if you are on brand. So if your inventory is at the right price with the right blend, you have the right mix and right product blend of your inventory, your price point should reflect that, right? You should have some different price points of everything. And our product mix, this is going to leave me just smiling, right? It's going to leave me smiling. And of course, now we have that inventory merchandised beautifully, right? So it looks good, and hopefully, all the other things come to play in our shop. So there's things we can do to revisit how our first impression is. So how we're leaving that first kiss, how we're being memorable and rememberable in our shops. And it's really important, my friends. I mean, this year, again, the high touch, the community, the first impressions. We cannot be average this year. We cannot be average. Mediocrity is not acceptable anymore. Like, if you've just been winging it, and I know this is not a lot of you, but there's some people that are just like, we've always done it this way. We're not willing to really make these changes, or we don't have the energy, or we don't have the time, or yada, yada. I hear it all the time. This is the year we really want to level up and make sure our first impression is a smile. It is our job, as I mentioned, to leave customers smiling. We want them to leave so happy that that is what they remember. They are talking about us. They are sharing about us. They are, their memory in their memory bank in their brain is a positive experience with us. And they're going to tell their friends, and they're going to maybe share us on Instagram. This is where all the marketing ripples come in effect when we have memorable shops, when we've created that memory in our client's brain. And that's what we want to do. It's all about that. So there's lots of things we can do. I hope you found this episode helpful. I hope you'll sit down, maybe revisit some of these things in your shop. And again, the three things are, we want the senses to all be hit. So how it looks and feels and touches, and smell's a big one. A lot of people miss that one. A lot of people miss the smell. We want to make sure all of those senses are hit. We want to make sure our team is completely trained on being interactive with our clients, with those beautiful customers coming in, what to say, what not to say. And we want to make sure our inventory is on point. So if you're a Retailer Inner Circle member, go listen to the inventory masterclass. First two parts of it are the most important, I guess, when it's choosing your inventory. And we have merchandising masterclasses for you, and shop standards when we talk about how we want it to feel. We have all kinds of masterclasses inside the Retailer's Inner Circle. So if you're a member, go check out in the headquarters, jump over to masterclasses, and you'll find those big ones there, those three there. And if you're not a member, you know what I'm going to say. Why are you not a member? We've had some amazing members join in the last month. It's been amazing. We've had so many people that we've been welcoming into the Retailer's Inner Circle. And when you're ready, we'd love to welcome you as well. It's a great community. We have community education, and it's just a lot of conversations happen. We continue these conversations that we have here on the podcast over inside the Retailer's Inner Circle. Thank you, my friends, for listening today. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. I hope it's an amazing week in sales, and hope there's sunshine shining wherever you are. Have a great week, you guys. We'll see you next week. Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Creative Shop Talk podcast. I'm so glad that you were here to join us this week, and I hope you found value in what we're sharing here. I want to remind you that our website has all of the show notes. You can find it at wendybatten.com/podcast. Everything that you need to hear about today's podcast is there. Also an opportunity if you need to reach out to me. If I can support you in any way whatsoever, please feel free to reach out. So thanks for joining us. Please leave a review, subscribe if you can, and never miss an episode. We hope to see you back here again next week. Thanks, my friend. Have a great week.